This is the day, a Sabbath blessing devotional. Psalm 92, Psalm 121. This is the day that the Lord has made. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. The words ring out like a trumpet call on this holy Sabbath morning. This is not just another day, not just another Saturday. This is God's day, handcrafted in the very beginning, a day He blessed and made holy. It is a day of divine appointment, a time when heaven stoops down to meet earth, and God's people are invited to step out of the ordinary and into His presence. The Sabbath, a gift in time. When God created the heavens and the earth, He worked for 6 days, fashioning galaxies and oceans, mountains and meadows, sunrises and starlit skies. On the 7th day He rested, not because He was tired, but because His work was complete. He sanctified that day and blessed it, not for Himself, but for us. The Sabbath is not a burden, but a blessing. It is a sanctuary in time, a pause in the frantic rhythm of the world, a reminder that we are not slaves to productivity or performance. We are children of God, designed not only to work, but to rest, not only to strive, but to trust. Each week, the Sabbath whispers, stop, breathe, remember. And so today, we come to this holy pause, declaring, this is the day that the Lord has made. We'll rejoice and be glad in it. Psalm 92, a song for the Sabbath. Psalm 92 is unique. It is the only psalm specifically labeled as a song for the Sabbath. These ancient words tell us how to approach this sacred day. It is good to give thanks to the Lord and to sing praises to your name, O Most High, to declare your loving kindness in the morning and your faithfulness every night on an instrument of 10 strings, on the lute and on the harp with harmonious sound. The psalmist invites us to begin the Sabbath with thanksgiving, not with worry, not with weariness, but with gratitude. Gratitude shifts our focus from what we lack to the God who provides. As the sun rises on Sabbath morning, we are reminded of His loving kindness that has carried us through the week. And as the Sabbath day closes, we remember His faithfulness that never fails. The Sabbath is a day for praise, a day when our voices, our instruments, our very lives become a symphony of worship. It's not just about attending a service or singing a hymn. It's about living in awe of a God who has set aside this day for us to meet Him. Psalm 121, a song of assurance. But life is not always peaceful. Sometimes we come to the Sabbath carrying heavy burdens. Fears about the future, wounds from the past, and worries that weigh us down. Psalm 121 is God's answer to those fears. I will lift up my eyes to the hills. From whence comes my help? My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. He will not allow your foot to be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, He who keeps Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. What a comfort! The Sabbath reminds us that while we rest, God is still at work. He is the keeper of our lives. He never slumbers, never forgets, never abandons. Even when we feel weak, He is strong. Even when we feel surrounded by trouble, His presence is our shield. The psalm continues. The Lord shall preserve you from all evil. He shall preserve your soul. The Lord shall preserve your going out and your coming in from this time forth, and even forevermore. The God who made heaven and earth has promised to watch over you. The same God who set the stars in place is keeping an eye on every step you take. What greater blessing could the Sabbath bring than the assurance that we are never alone? This is the day, a day of rejoicing. When we sing, this is the day that the Lord has made, we will rejoice and be glad in it. We are making a choice. Rejoicing is not always easy. Life is full of trials. Our weeks are filled with challenges. But the Sabbath is an opportunity to step away from the chaos and choose joy. We rejoice not because life is perfect, but because God is faithful. We rejoice because the same God who created the Sabbath is also the God who sent His Son to redeem us. On the Sabbath, we are reminded that salvation is not about our work, but His finished work. As Christ rested in the tomb on the Sabbath after His sacrifice, this day became not only a reminder of creation, but also a symbol of redemption. The Sabbath tells us, you are loved, you are chosen, you are safe in my hands. A sanctuary for the soul. Picture this, The Sabbath is like a beautiful garden in time. Outside its walls, the world rushes on. Emails, traffic, deadlines, noise. Well, when we step into the Sabbath, we enter a sacred space. Here, the air is still. Here, God's presence is near. Here, we find peace for our restless hearts. The world says you are what you achieve. The Sabbath says you are who God declares you to be. The world says keep running, don't stop. The Sabbath says be still and know that I am God. The world says you are alone. The Sabbath says I will never leave you nor forsake you. Practical Sabbath blessings. What does this day offer us? Rest for the body. God designed us to rest, and Sabbath is His invitation to recharge physically and mentally. Peace for the mind. We can set aside stress, knowing God holds tomorrow. Joy for the spirit. Worship lifts our hearts above our troubles. Connection with others. Sabbath gives us time for family, friendship, and community. Renewal of faith. Each Sabbath reminds us of our eternal home, a day when every tear will be wiped away. Looking to Zion. The hymn Marching to Zion reminds us of our ultimate destination. Come, we that love the Lord, and let our joys be known. Join in a song with sweet accord, and thus surround the throne. Each Sabbath is a glimpse of Zion, a foretaste of eternity. Every sunset that ushers in this day is a reminder that one day we'll rest forever with God. A blessing for today. Beloved, may this Sabbath fill your heart with peace that passes understanding. May you feel God's presence so deeply that every burden becomes lighter. May you see His fingerprints in the sunrise, His promises in His word, His love in the faces of those you cherish. May Psalm 92's melody of praise rise in your heart. You, Lord, are on high forevermore. For you, Lord, have made me glad for your work. I will triumph in the works of your hands. And may Psalm 121's assurance anchor your soul. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord shall preserve your going out and your coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. This is not just any day. This is the day the Lord has made. This is the Sabbath of the Lord your God, a gift of love, a holy pause, a promise of eternity. Rejoice and be glad in it. Happy Sabbath, peace, rest, and joy be upon you now and always.